This is Sheppard at it's a pair down. For Sheppard, this is a win and in. For Shaheen, it's a win and question mark. Probably win and in. 5th versus 6th right now in the tournament. Players start on tap lands. And though he's the Delirium deck in a slower build, Shaheen, of course, still does have 4 Grim Flayers. They're his only 2-drops in the deck. So it's not a big commitment to aggro, but when it happens, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it gives him access to some number of runaway games on the aggressive side.
Evolving Wilds. We see cracking Evolving Wilds before the connect.
Yep, good sequencing. This way he'll be able to manage the top of his deck with Grim Flayer and not shuffle anything that he wants to keep away.
On Bradley Sheppard's side, one interesting thing about his build this weekend is he has a lot of one-of removals just to kind of keep his opponent off balance. He has 1 Oath of Chandra, 1 Dispel, 1 Shock, 1 Immolating Glare, 1 Nahiri. A swing by Grim Flayer.
And before it connects, Shaheen casts Grapple of the Past on the shot that he could get Delirium and hit for 4. Misses, but at least he already had Evolving Wilds.
Okay, so he did get Evolving Wilds back. Now a mill from Grim Flayer puts Ishkana into the graveyard. So now we have Planeswalker, instant creature. I don't think we're there yet.
And next turn he'll be able to add the land again. And
well, I'll just do it now.
Here's a land heading now. So we got a 4/4 online. That means that Bradley can no longer top deck Harness Lightning to deal with the Grim Flayer without an Ether Hub.
He was deciding whether or not to actually keep the last Liliana on top. Decides no, just mills everything.
Yeah, Liliana's not super effective as the game goes longer against these Jeskai decks. If you get it on turn 3 and can build it to an ultimate, that's one thing.
I do really like the start from Shaheen. This aggro, Grim Flayer can be really good against this deck once it's a 4/4. I was a little surprised, though, that Shaheen was able to get it to this point. Jeskai's pretty well equipped to deal with a 2/2 for 2.
Yeah, so for Sheppard's deck, he has 1 copy of Shock and 4 Harness Lightning. He does still have an Immolating Glare.
I suppose Nahiri eventually answers it.
Right. Yeah, next turn he'll presumably be able to get to 4 mana and could have that Nahiri.
Big plays here by Shaheen. Cracks Evolving Wilds to get Delirium to turn his Flayer into a 4/4. Then plays Traverse the Ulfwyn Vault, and look at this, he's getting another Grim Flayer. He is definitely wanting the aggro roll.
Yeah, he's on the beatdown plan, and it's at least 2 turns away from Sheppard casting a Fumigate.
It's a lot of potential damage. I have to admit, I like this play here from Shaheen. It's not normally what I see him doing, but I'll take it. Immolating Glare takes the Grim Flayer, Shaheen replaces it.
And the thing about Shaheen's deck is it's generally pretty controlling deck, though the Jeskai Saheeli deck is, on most levels, just better at playing the controlling role. So Shaheen knows that there's a lot of pressure on him to close quickly.
Well, that's the nice part, right? So you see Shaheen gets in for 4 with Grim Flayer. He's done a really good aggro start, and it's forcing Bradley Sheppard to maybe anticipate for kill spells, do a lot of that kind of thing. But eventually Bradley will answer these players. When he does, you know, Shaheen's fine playing control. That's what his deck was supposed to do anyway. The big question will be, once Bradley starts threatening 6 mana, how bad is that going to be for Soorani?
It depends when Brad is able to actually answer this Grim Flayer. You know, if that sticks around for a while, you'll be able to Gearhulk Immolating Glare at some point, so that's a really good exchange for Sheppard.
And just such an interesting transition from Shaheen. Last turn, he traversed for Grim Flayer. This turn, he hits with Flayer, and he gets 2 more copies of it, bins them both. Doesn't even want them anymore. Plays Mindwrack Demon, though. That's something he'll want.
Yeah, at this stage, he's looking for cards that are going to be able to bridge him into the late game should he get there. He already has enough threats as it is.
So, Ryan, if he swung first with Grim Flayer and then played Mindwrack Demon, I'm wondering if he had another play available. Normally, you'd sequence that the other way. Maybe he changed his mind based on what he saw.
That's certainly possible.
Glimmer end step by Bradley, both cards to bottom. He's looking for a Fumigate, and I think he found one.
Fumigate's really good right now.
Yeah, he did. He has the untapped land, too. He just drew it.
He still has a reasonable chunk of life, deals with 2 threats with it.
Says go. Not even going to Fumigate here?
Yeah, he thinks he can get a little more.
I like it. I like it a lot. 7-card hand. No sweeper yet. Give me more cards. Swings for, he's gonna take 8. I love this. It might be a little, he might be a maniac, but I like it.
He could go for Harness Lightning and attempt just Torrential Gearhulk to clean up the board next turn. And this way
Sure.
he saves the Fumigate for something like an Ishkana out of Soorani.
That's really smart. So Harnessed Lightning takes care of the Grim Flare. Bradley Sheppard goes to 10.
If you're passing on 5, it suggests that you don't have Fumigate, so maybe Shaheen shoves on this turn, especially after that spot removal spell.
Yeah, something like timing a Harnessed Lightning there would really get Shaheen to play Ishkana, if that's the goal. Yeah. If Shaheen makes the Spider and then Bradley fumigates, it's just a masterful play.
Yeah.
You see, he's thinking now.
I believe he has a Tireless Tracker in his hand.
That might be okay. I think he already played the land, though, right? Tracker plus land, crack clue is pretty good.
Yeah.
Anticipate for Bradley Sheppard.
7th edition shock.
I like white borders. Yeah, Shaheen has, I think what he wants to do is he wants to leave up mana. We're getting that spot where Bradley's untapping with 6, and Bradley does have Guardian Saheeli in hand.
Yeah.
The unfortunate part for Soorani is Bradley has Guardian Saheeli negate, and so when he gets to 8 mana, it's almost certainly a kill.
Right.
You see lands 6 and 7 in Shepherd's hand. So stay alive till turn 8, go for a kill. That seems like a pretty good setup.
And once he does cast that Fumigate, he has the combo in hand, so Shaheen has to be careful about how much mana he actually taps. He has to at least represent Grasp of Darkness from that point in the game, which he can do with the Tireless Tracker.
Bradley's got to be careful, though. So he has, hand is 2 lands, 2 Saheelis, negate, Felidar Guardian, and Fumigate. So actually, Fumigate is his only piece of board control, meaning this Mind Rack Demon is a little scary.
Yeah.
So Bradley will play out the first Saheeli. Keep in mind he has another one. Maybe he's trying to play it to gain some life, hopes Shaheen takes a turn off to attack it.
Yeah, it gets him a Scry Trigger and either gains him life or enables him to just Guardian plus negate next turn.
Plays land 6. Wait, yeah, I guess it's good both ways, right? If Shaheen doesn't kill it, you can Guardian plus negate.
Yeah.
If he does, you gained life, that's fine.
Yeah, I like the way that Shepherd's playing this game.
Demon immediately attacks the Healy. Shaheen's follow-up, Tireless Tracker, and then plays a land. It's the copy of Ether Hub.
Expecting Fumigate on Shepherd's turn.
Yeah, I think so. He has land 7, so his turn 7 would be Fumigate, and if you can draw land here, his turn 8 will be combo with negate.
Yep.
That's probably good enough.
That sounds pretty good.
Well, I mean, if Shaheen's holding up enough mana that it's not good enough, it means Shaheen's just not playing anything.
Exactly.
Oath of Jace the draw for Sheppard. Spends an energy to make second white, casts Fumigate. Gains 2. Shaheen will draw using the clue. It's a tough spot here for Soorani. It's very difficult without discard to have control in this situation. It's just too much taxing on his lands. He's going to leave up Grasp of Darkness as Shaheen goes for Ishkana. It's a great play from him, but it's still dead to untapped land. Because 2-card combos are just that fun.
Yeah.
But a bit of a reprieve. Bradley misses on the untapped land. Yeah, you see that knock on the table there for him. He knew. I just have to set up. I wonder if it's Oath of Jace or Saheeli Rai. I wouldn't be surprised to see Oath of Jace.
Yeah.
That's the play. Draw 3, discard 2. He gets his land, which comes into play tapped.
And there is a second copy of Fumigate in the main deck.
Yeah, the danger here, Ryan, I think, is that now Shaheen could actually hold up 2 kill spells.
Yeah, until you answer this Ishkana, Shaheen gets a little more control over how he gets to play the game.
If I'm in Shaheen's spot and he has 7 lands, right? You swing for 6, hold up 6 mana, like, great.
Yep.
That's a 2-turn clock. You can activate Ishkana on end step.
Right.
Bradley's missed the window, but Bradley played so well here. He used that Fuma. Yeah, I like how he sequenced.
There's enough pressure here. It's going to force some action on Shepherd's next turn.
Yeah, he's going to have to try to win. Traverse from Shaheen Soorani. We know he has 1 grasp. The question is does he have anything else? He needs 2 spells to not lose here. Shaheen traversing just for a Hissing Quagmire and playing it. Glimmer end step by Sheppard. Another Felidar Guardian and a land. And his hand's pretty much perfect, right? Combo plus negate. I don't know exactly what he's looking for. I guess a Fumigate would be pretty great.
Yeah, Fumigate is awesome because it is even good if Shaheen has double grasp. If Shaheen has double grasp, the combo is in trouble.
Well, but the problem is you wouldn't learn that he has double grasp until it's too late,
Exactly.
right? So if he draws Fumigate, then he kind of has to make a pick. Which one? Am I sweeping the board or am I trying to win? Both cards to the bottom. Sheppard does play a second main deck Fumigate. Draw land and Harnessed Lightning. I bet we're still seeing a combo turn.
Yeah, Harness Lightning is not quite good enough against this much pressure.
Another Guardian is the draw for Sheppard. Yeah, it might just be time to go for the combo.
Yeah. I'm not really seeing other options on Sheppard's side here.
So to do this, he's going to have to lead on Felidar Guardian. He does not get to hit target Oath of Jace. It's going to have to be a land. Let's see. Looking how he wants to have it. He wants to see Sheen's graveyard. Okay, how much spot removal? Shaheen has milled a huge chunk of his deck.
Yep.
All right, so here's how this works. He leads on Felidar Guardian. Going to target a land. An Ether Hub. That happens. Goes up over to 5 energy. 3 mana for Saheeli Rai. Here's the combo. And with 2 mana up, Saheeli targets Guardian, Grasp of Darkness, negate, and to the slaughter. That's going to be game for Shaheen Soorani. The shake of the head Bradley needed, just needed the land. And Shaheen will go ahead and attack with the spiders, and that will take care of it.
Yep. Yeah, Shaheen did a really great job of leveraging his pressure and then getting enough removal spells to disrupt the combo.
Well played there by Soorani. So he moves up a game over Bradley Sheppard. Both players really playing this matchup pretty well. Let's go over to sideboards. Okay, Bradley Sheppard's side first. He's got to know after these main deck Ishkanas that he's against a more controlling build. That's not standard. At least it's not the net deck.
Right.
So we see Trail of Evidence, Dispel, Torrential Gearhulk, Void Shatter, Negate, Nahiri, Oath of Chandra, Fragmentize, Decommission, Fumigate, Quarantine Field, Radiant Flames, and Declaration in Stone. You know, if this is a big control fight, Bradley's shown up with a lot of weapons.
Yes, and the plan here is going to look very similar to what you're bringing in the blue mirrors. You know, your extra torrential Gearhulk is excellent. You have counter spells in the form of Dispel to protect your combo, Void Shatter to deal with either Interruption or your opponent's proactive plan. You could counter, say, an Ishkana with that one. Negate is solid enough as well. And the Nahiri, Planeswalkers are great. And the bonus that he gets on top of what he has against blue mirrors is he brings another copy of Fumigate.
Right, so I mean, between Fumigate and stuff like Quarantine Field, he does have a lot of sweepers.
Right.
Does he go off any of the combo pieces because of how the games play out?
Shaheen has enough spot removal that trimming some makes a lot of sense, especially because he has the extra Gearhulk in his sideboard. He has more ways to win the game that way.
Yeah. And Shaheen actually has some other weapons here for this matchup. Yahenni's Expertise, Natural State, Pick the Brain, Tireless Tracker, World Breaker, Appetite for the Unnatural, Fatal Push, Kalitas, Lost Legacy, Ob Nixilis, and then a second Transgress. What I'm looking at are these extraction effects.
Yes.
Pick the Brain and Lost Legacy.
Yep, the Transgress Command is excellent. With Lost Legacy, you have to be a little bit careful about what's still in your opponent's deck.
Okay.
After all, you can't name Torrential Gearhulk.
Right.
But you can get rid of either combo piece, and that's going to be pretty good. The discard spell is very good. Tireless Tracker is one of his creatures that's good at playing a long game or applying pressure, so that one's excellent. That's about what he's looking at here.
Yeah, so he has the discard, some better finishers. Really, if he can keep Bradley off these combo plays, what we saw there is eventually Bradley just had to try to combo because when you get to the value game plan, Shaheen wins that.
Yes.
Over on StarCityGames.com, of course, we do have our Versus series, which we're going to talk about. We do have now our 2-player playmat. This is the same playmat you see on our Versus videos. A lot of the top players over on the SCG Tour doing playtesting sessions with the top decks of the format. You can order that today at starcitygames.com/versusplaymat. And for Shaheen Soorani, the Esper Master.
Modern classic player.
So, from the 33-year-old from Norfolk, Virginia, he's got an open win to his name in 9 top 8s. I think one of the most impressive things are the 5 invitational top 8s that Shaheen has.
10 Esper decks.
10 assets.
5 top
Yeah.
8s.
Yeah, so the Shaheen is just known for this play style. You see planeswalkers, you see sweepers. Those are just, if you want to talk about what is like the hallmark of a Shaheen deck, that
Yes.
would be it. Which is kind of neat because as a 33-year-old, he's been playing since before planeswalkers were a card type. So I like, he kind of like hit his stride around Lorwyn and just never looked back.
There was some amount of sentiment among Drago traditional control players when planeswalkers came out. Like, that's not the kind of Magic I want to play.
When Shaheen started top 8ing initially with these planeswalker heavy Esper decks, you're right. The control players ever were just saying, this is garbage. This is no good. You can't play 10 between your sweepers and your planeswalkers, you have 12 sorcery speed cards. This is the worst control deck ever.
Yeah.
And I think the results stand for themselves, and that Shaheen was just onto something.
Definitely. Planeswalkers have proven to be an immensely powerful card type.
Well, and it's just this new archetype, right? Like tap out control. That's a thing.
So something I think about now and again. So they've never printed a bad Garruk Planeswalker. And the first one was, of course, Garruk Wildspeaker.
That was good.
And during that standard format, people were playing these absurd mana bases with Vivid Lands and Reflecting Pool. I'm curious if we could do it all again, whether or not the Cruel Ultimatum decks would play Garruk Wildspeaker.
I mean, maybe they should have been playing it.
It's possible.
Just tap out more.
That card's so good.
Card is so good. I mean, you have as good as Cryptic Commander Muldrifter.
You can play all of
You
them.
can play all of them. What about, I like it when you curved Cloud Thresher into Cruel Ultimatum.
Yes.
That's good.
That was a good one.
That's fair mana. My quad green card into my black, blue, red card.
I played a couple Garruk Wildspeakers in Bloodbraid Elf Jund.
Yeah, that was okay.
And one time I got to cast a turn 4
Broodmare Dragon?
Karthus, Tyrant of Jund.
Oh, wow.
Off of
we're
Explore
playing
into
that
Garruk.
thing. He steals all the dragons.
Yes. I had one copy of my sideboard. The only person I ever cast it against was Troy Thompson.
See, the great part about that is you're probably playing the Jundmere because that's what
people were doing.
It was. And so it was the thing about the Jundmere is that Broodmare Dragon had so few answers. And
Yeah.
but you just get him real good.
Karthus was awesome.
Does he permanently steal the other dragons, or does he just give them haste, or it's something? He's like this dragon theme thing. He's great.
I'm pretty sure it's all dragons you control have haste and gain control of all dragons on ETB, and I don't think it's conditional on controlling Karthus.
It's like when I kill Karthus, you still keep I still lose.
Yeah. Well, you probably die the turn I cast it because you're taking 15.
No, I get that. I get that I'm dead. But if somehow I'm not dead, am I still dead? I know that the card. I remember at the time. The card was this really narrow thing that was really good in a Jundmere. And the situations, it was like not usually good, but when it was good, it was just unbelievable.
It had a short window of being a really cool sideboard card, and then they printed Baneslayer Angel.
Yeah.
Which has protection from dragons.
And demons. I think my favorite Baneslayer Angel part was that the very next set had the card Halo Hunter in it.
Yes. Yeah, there we go. So you just gain control of the dragons with Karthus.
Permanently.
And just your other dragons have haste.
Yeah. If you ever want to know the biggest, this was my favorite one. Right after Baneslayer Angel does really well, they print this. This is. Oh, there's a great angel in standard. We can kill it. Oh, wait.
Nope.
They had to put it on a demon just to prove a point. The point is there are no answers to Baneslayer Angel. You can kill the other ones.
Right.
Vessel of Nascency and Anticipate, some cantrips starting out for both players. No double Grim Flayer for Shaheen this time.
Soorani has the nice perk of having 2 Hazen Quagmires. Creature lands generally pretty good in this kind of matchup.
Look at the sideboard here. We have both Pick the Brain and Obnixilis in hand already for Shaheen. And what I'm be interested in is how Shaheen plays this Pick the Brain. If he's going to wait until he has Delirium before going for it. Is it just another Transgress, or is he really trying to get that extraction effect?
Well, he didn't have a third on tap land, and he's cracking the Vessel.
So enchantment, planeswalker, creature, sorcery. He'll be one short unless he spins everything, which that seems poor.
Yeah.
But he's going to have 3 card types in his graveyard.
Yeah, especially when your Pick the Brain can just get countered. I would pick a card.
Which one? He has 2 choices. It's either Liliana or Mindwreck Demon. Looks like he'll take the demon.
The Liliana is more likely to get countered because Sheppard has access to negate. So the demon makes some sense.
I don't know that he had a land. I think he was trying to hit a land.
That's problematic.
Well, no, he has a basic. We're okay.
Okay.
He has a basic swamp there up at the top. Going to play it and cast the demon he got. All right, Mind Direct Demon. Does this work? Mills 4. Puts land in the graveyard, so now he does have Delirium. And Bradley will just do some card drawing of his own with Glimmer of Genius.
And Sheppard does have access to some clean answers to demon in his deck. He has access to multiple Fumigates and then Immolating Glare.
Yeah, he has an Ahiri as well if he's willing to take a hit off it, which he might be.
Yeah, from 20, why not?
Draws Immolating Glare for the turn, so there you have the clean answer.
Yeah, that lines up nicely.
Yeah, Fumigate in hand as well, so he can kind of pick how he wants to kill this.
Yeah. And the Torrential Gearhulk. He's got a lot of good ones in
Yeah,
hand.
he is set up well for this game, but so is Shaheen. This is going to be a real slugfest. Mindrak Demon gets Immolating Glared. I think we do have a negate as well in Bradley's hand, so Pick the Brain might not work. It's going to be Traverse the Ulfin Vault for Shaheen. Does it resolve? Bradley, the answer is yes. You can have that. Does have Delirium, so this can find most cards. It's looking like he's going for Grim Flayer. And I actually kind of like this. So if you are starting next turn, Sheen's going to have to start leaving up mana to respect the combo. If that's the case, I like that he has to get this onto the board so that he has a threat. You know, you don't want to be leaving up reactive mana without a clock.
Yes.
That's Bradley's game plan. You lose.
Right.
Challenge players, your round 3 pairings are posted. When you have legacy challenge players, your pairings are posted.
Land and go, though. So can't do it yet because he still wants to respect the combo.
Yep, Sheppard on 5 lands can go to 6. Guardian a land, Saheeli, so got to leave up the grasp there.
Grapple with the pass for Shaheen. Gets back. Looks like just a land. An Ether Hub. You don't normally see Hub in these decks. It's a 1-of in Shaheen's list. He does not have any cards that interact with energy.
It's an untapped dual land.
Yep. He's playing at his Tendo Ice Bridge. And there it is. Gets the energy. And now Shaheen gets to cast Grim Flayer with some of that reactive mana up. But what, the bullying part, what I like about Jeskai Saheeli so much is, yeah, Bradley's using the 6 untapped mana to bully really hard.
Well, he can he taxes Shaheen's mana, and he has access to Torrential Gearhulk with the Glimmer of Genius in his graveyard.
Right, so he still spends his own.
Yep.
Pick the Brain from Shaheen. I don't know if that one's going to happen. I would negate that if I were Bradley.
Yep.
He would too. And Shaheen just says go. That one's a win for Sheppard. He'll leave up Gearhulk mana again. See if he can pull it off this turn. You know, Ryan, I know that this whole combo interaction, I'm liking Jeskai in this matchup a lot more than I used to.
Yes.
Sheen will try for Obnixilis Reignited. Will that get countered? Yeah, Gearhulk into negate seems pretty good.
Now, previously, Torrential Gearhulk was the only major consideration you had to make outside of getting wrecked by a counterspell, but
now,
you have a lot of discard.
Gearhulk's the afterthought. Sheen's playing the whole game around the combo, and then when he respects the combo, then Bradley Gearhulks him. Hits for 5. Sheen down to 15. Feldar Guardian, blinking Torrential Gearhulk, casting Glimmer of Genius. Sure, Shaheen will grasp away the Guardian, but this is so good for Bradley.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Shaheen has to answer this Gearhulk.
Damage has already been very significant.
Yes.
The Gearhulk nabbed a negate and a Glimmer. And Sheen, empty board. We'll see what he can make of it. So Sheen will go for Mindrak Demon. Stuff's just not big enough yet.
Yeah, Sheppard has access to a Harness Lightning, currently 5 energy in the reserve.
An interesting part here is that while Guardian is in the deck, we haven't seen much Saheeli Rai out of Bradley. As he draws it. I was wondering if he had shaved on parts of the combo. Like how this game's playing out, the combo is not actually good. What's good is that Shaheen is respecting the combo.
Right.
Right, so we see Saheeli from Sheppard, and I'm going to copy a Gear Hulk again. Ugh, getting Anticipate. I mean, there's a Feldar Guardian in Bradley's hand, but I'm just not, I don't know. That's not what I want to be doing. I want to keep these negates, and that part sounds great.
It's not too difficult to convert these Torrential Gear Hulks into a win.
Well, I mean, okay, how about, 10 damage. Shaheen's at 5. Bradley just says go. He got a 3-mana Gear Hulk there, main phase.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, it's a combo piece. No, we don't really care. Grim Flayers cast Mindrak Demon at Saheeli and Flayer at Bradley. Yeah, wants to not have Fumarole block. Makes sense. But Bradley looks like he's going to protect his Planeswalker. It's going to be Harness Lightning.
And definitely fine taking this Grim Flayer hit. He's still at 20.
Yeah, it'll drop him to 16. Look at his hand, 2 Nahiris and a Gate. Feldar Guardian Gear Hulk. Fumigate. A million things.
Yeah, Sheppard both has Nahiri and Fumigate that he hasn't had to bother with this game because he's just kind of winning heads up with the Gear Hulk.
Saheeli will scry. Now Bradley's going to force a little bit of force. I was going to say with maybe Guardian, but he's just going to play Nahiri, exile the Grim Flayer. Yeah, he doesn't need to combo. He's actually just winning the fairway. See, plays a second Planeswalker, says go. Shaheen running out of cards. He's got Grapple, he's got Creature Land, he's got a Grim Flayer. I think you're right. When it was only Gear Hulks, he was able to beat Gear Hulks. But now that they have this backup of instant wins that taxes Shaheen's mana, he needed to go full throttle to beat Gear Hulks, and he can't do that anymore.
Yeah, when it was just Gear Hulk Glimmer, you could get under them and win a reasonable number of those games.
Or you could even go over the top, like multiple Ishkanas frequently was good enough.
Yeah, you force them to have Fumigate for every
turn.
Or a counter spell.
Yeah, and that's just not going to do it. Bradley Sheppard evens things up at 1 game apiece. And smile on Shaheen's face. He was trying.
That Torrential Gear Hulk card is pretty good.
Yeah. I do like how the do-nothings, right? Your combo pieces, the Feldar Guardian and the Saheeli, both play so well with Torrential Gear Hulk.
Yes, the interaction with either of them, especially if you have a Glimmer of Genius hanging out in your graveyard and you can make that happen. Very powerful interactions. The Saheeli in particular, as we saw in that game, he just was able to pressure Shaheen's life total so much, and on top of flashing back a Glimmer of Genius. A lot of card advantage, was just ahead on the board, pretty cleanly ran away with that game.
So we go back over to game 3. Now, one of the things which it's actually starting to notice then is because of the pressure of this combo, Grim Flayer is actually playing a pretty big role in this matchup for Shaheen.
It's arguably his most important card.
Yeah. And it's interesting because it used to be that the aggro black-green decks had trouble against Jeskai, but the controlling ones are good. It seems like it's been turned on its head. If I'm on Shaheen's side, I want to see 2-drops every game, and he only plays the 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he needs to be able to maintain threats in the face of 1-for-1 removal spells out of Sheppard. So you need to cast more threats in a lot of turns where your creature dies, but you also need to leave up a removal spell in case you get combo killed.
So Jeskai, Saheeli, and Black-Green Delirium, they're going to get ready for the 3rd game. These 2 decks have been on top of the format this weekend, but a lot of decks we've had this weekend taking shots at them and seeing what they can do. All those matches, of course, are archived over on our YouTube page. That's the youtube.com/StarCityGames. So next week we put up all the matches from this weekend. We've had a lot of good ones. I mean, it looks like we're going to have Teamer Eldrazi in the top 8 of the tournament, some black-red zombies. We saw some mono-blue paradoxical outcome combo. A lot of great stuff. You find other things over on our YouTube channel as well. We have our Split Second, that's new this year, versus series, Commander versus Magic Online playtesting, and the best of the SCG Tour. So you can subscribe today over at youtube.com/StarCityGames. Get a notification every time when we do post this tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've seen a lot of different flavors of both the black-green decks and the Torrential Gearhulk decks as well, so you can get a good idea of which configurations seem to be more effective.
Yeah, and I know he got his 4th loss. He's not going to be in the top 8. I'm still really a fan of Jim Davis's blue-black deck this weekend. Mm-hmm. Mainly because if it's a 2-deck format, and right now, when we looked at our metagame breakdown, which is available over on Star City Games, it's not exactly 2 decks. Certainly people are high on black-green this weekend, mainly because they don't know what beats it yet.
Right.
A lot of people are trying, and I still think at the Pro Tour next weekend we're going to find, I think this deck can be beaten. It's not that, but what I liked about Jim's deck is while there were only 2 known decks to be good this weekend, which was Jeskai, Saheeli, and black-green, and Jim's good against both of them.
Yes. I really like the spot that the pure Torrential Gearhulk control decks are in right now.
Yeah, and it wasn't just Jim. Outside of these Jeskai and black-green decks, blue-black control putting up the best numbers here on day 2.
Shaheen taking a mulligan, showing Sheppard a hand of 7 lands. Not in the market to keep that one.
No, not really. Yeah, the biggest fall we've seen this weekend, I kind of mentioned it before, only 3 copies of green-white tokens into day 2. That is a much lower number than we would have expected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a deck that got some significant upgrades with the new set. Heart of Kiran kind of slots right into this one. And just the upgrades for the other deck, particularly Winding Constrictor, really kind of embarrasses this deck on the battlefield.
Yeah. So we'll see whether or not Mardu vehicles, green-white tokens, if they can survive in the new meta. It's always interesting how much that stuff shakes up right around the time of the Pro Tour.
Yes.
Last Pro Tour in Kaladesh, our finals, we had Jeskai control and blue-red Dynavolt Tower, and not really, not what you would expect.
That finals was great. Carlos from Mao versus Shota Yasuoka.
Yeah,
2 control masters.
All right, Sheen keeping on 6. So we're underway for our 3rd game. And he does have, and we talked about how important this was, this is Grim Flare. And it looks like an unanswered Grim Flare. No Harnessed Lightning for Bradley Sheppard. That's great. Traverse for Shaheen. And it looks like Sheppard's contemplating a negate here. And he does. Here's Grim Flare hitting. Milling. That's a very aggressive negate.
Yes. There's some potential for Shaheen to be stuck on lands. He did mulligan. And also, if Sheppard's hand is going to take a while to deploy his cards, you want to use that negate as proactively as possible.
Yeah, and I generally don't like the line of trying to land deny your opponent, especially when you're a control deck. You'd much rather fight over their spells. It's like, I wouldn't want to negate your land drop most of the time, because I'll just give you time to draw another, and then I lost my negate.
Yeah, I'm assuming this is just a matter of mana efficiency.
Yeah, and I mean, it's possible he will get rewarded. If Shaheen doesn't have the 3rd land, I guess it depends what the rest of Bradley's hand is, but if you're going to deny him a land but let him have a Grim Flare trigger, right? Sheen will find the land.
Right, yeah, that helps him a lot in the finding cards on the top of his deck department.
Yeah, so what you're saying is if Bradley, and Sheen does miss the land, if Bradley was planning to tap out the next 3 turns, then this negate's pretty nice.
Yes. In particular, if his hand is things like Disallow, some 3 mana action that's just a counter spell.
Yeah.
You just got to cast your cards.
Ether Hub is the play. He's got Saheeli Rai, which he could deploy this turn. Nahiri and Glimmer in his hand. Yeah, he's going to play. Now that he sees Shaheen down on mana, he's just going to play Saheeli Rai and Scry. The Grim Flare is not a 4/4 yet. We have instant sorcery land in the graveyard. Does Shaheen draw a land? He does. It's a tap land.
It would take something like a grapple hitting different card types for Shaheen make a 4-power Grim Flare this turn.
Yeah, and there's also what? If Shaheen can't kill the Saheeli, there's the possibility of just the turn 4 kill.
Yes.
And now Shaheen's mana is being taxed even harder.
What Sheppard does have is a Nahiri the Harbinger, which will take care of this Grim Flare.
Vessel, land, go from Shaheen. And he just can't He can't respect Felidar Guardian here. It's too early. He can't start playing defense this quick.
He's already missed a land drop. He just can't afford to do that.
Saheeli will scry for Sheppard. Land, Nahiri, it looks like. He had to spend his energy for it, but the Harbinger will exile away the Grim Flare.
Yeah, now Sheppard has 2 Planeswalkers.
No. And I just want to comment on this match. Sheppard is showing a lot of poise playing this Jeskai deck. We already saw Dylan Donegan likely in the top 8 with this deck. I would be really excited to see that matchup happen. I'm not that familiar with Bradley Sheppard, but based on how he's been playing this match, I think he could bring some game to Dylan.
Yeah, showing a lot of familiarity with this archetype and ones of similar natures.
Tireless Tracker to play for Shaheen. Would have been much nicer if there's a land drop next to it, but there isn't. And now it's just on Bradley to close this one out. The control player's ahead on the board, ahead on cards, ahead on lands. That's just about perfect.
This is some good sequencing here as well. Saheeli's first to see if there's a card on top that he wants with his Nahiri.
Then there isn't, so he pluses but no discard. The tracker does stay alive. When Shaheen top decks the land, he gets a clue. He's going to attack at Nahiri. If he cracks the clue, it is enough to take down the Harbinger.
Sheppard looks like he's got a couple Void Shatters in his hand.
And a couple Gear Hulks.
I'm not seeing a way to really do anything about combat.
I mean, this is problematic, right?
He has a Wandering Fumarole that he can activate.
I don't want to lose my land drop when my hand's all Gear Hulks.
Getting Stone Rain seems pretty bad.
Well, what if Shaheen grasps it? That's
yeah, taking down Counterspell mana there, also not great.
End step Glimmer from Bradley. That'll work. Shaheen has left up Grasp mana as he managed to fell away the Harbinger. And now Bradley, top, and draw. Yep. All right.
6th land would be great, and he did find it.
And now Shaheen's got to worry about stuff, right? Like Felidar Guardian plus negates, probably game over.
You know, Torrential Gear Hulk could very well just be game over, too.
Sure.
He's already got a Glimmer in his graveyard. He has a Sealy on the battlefield. That can end the game very quickly.
Scries to the bottom says go. His Saheeli all the way up to 7. And Shaheen will reload. Cracks Vessel on end step, getting a land. He needs one.
Postured at the pick the brain. Kind of wishes that he could have that one.
Yeah, I'll take that. That would be nice. Shaheen does now have Delirium, though. He has a To the Slaughter in his hand, which if Bradley goes for a combo, that can be pretty wrecking.
Yeah.
Shaheen, or if Shaheen attacks and Bradley flashes in a Gear Hulk to block, To the Slaughter is looking really nice.
Yes.
And we'll see if that happens. Shaheen attacks, cracks a clue, and look at the poise by Sheppard. Saheeli down to 2 loyalty.
Yeah, Saheeli's loyalty, not a big factor here. Gear Hulk for Glimmer, that's really significant.
And because, he's just,
Or
Bradley's
just Glimmer.
No, this is better. He's playing around To the Slaughter.
Yeah.
This is, I am really liking how Bradley Sheppard's playing this match.
Yeah, he would force Shaheen to play it into negate mana if he had
I would have jammed my Gear Hulk into that To the Slaughter. I'd have been a fool. Bradley is no fool.
Yeah, really playing very well.
Yeah, I mean, right? This is Does Shaheen want a To the Slaughter here now? Bradley might get the To the Slaughter out of Shaheen's hand using a Glimmer instead of a Gear Hulk. And if he does, that's pretty filthy.
Yes.
And now Shaheen just has to say, yeah, draw your cards then. Okay. Draw them, don't throw them on the floor, but there you go, there's Glimmer. Gear Hulk and another on the scry. He'll take them both again. And then anticipate. When your control opponent just keeps scrying every card to the top, it's like the worst feeling. I have scryed 4 times. I kept all 4 on top.
They're either making a pretty egregious mistake or they're going to destroy you.
Yeah.
This is looking like the latter.
With how he's been playing, I don't think it's an egregious mistake.
Right.
Scry with Saheeli. Full grip for Bradley Sheppard. Just land and a pass. All right. Now, in this spot, he might be forced into the To the Slaughter play. If he doesn't, he just loses to Saheeli.
Yeah, we'll see if he fights over the actual death of the Saheeli. You know,
This might not.
his play before showed that he was respecting to the slaughter. That's not really better for him on this turn. It's really just still the same exchange.
Land clue for Shaheen. Shaheen has gotten to crack a lot of clues for this tireless tracker.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, just bins the Saheeli when it's attacked.
Yeah, he does have the replacement Saheeli in his hand, so when he finds the Guardian, he still has the combo.
Yeah, not picking any fights that he doesn't have to.
Grim Flayer for Shaheen, and that's going to be just about it. He needs to leave up mana in case a combo's on the way. What will be interesting is whether or not this is an opportunity for Bradley to play a Gearhulk. And it is. Targeting Glimmer, of course.
And now that there's not also a Planeswalker getting got.
Well, Shaheen can't really to the slaughter here. I guess it, yeah. Just a huge number of cards for Bradley Sheppard. A huge amount of energy as well. He picked up Harnessed Lightning and actually can take down any creature with it.
Yeah, taking care of these 4 toughness creatures is going to be no issue for that one.
And just look at Bradley's face. He holds up his hand, looks at Blue Gearhulk, Void Shatter, other stuff. Says, yeah, it's fine, go.
Yeah, pressure's on you to kill me.
Waits till Shaheen taps to draw a card off the clue, and then he will spend the Harnessed Lightning to get rid of Tireless Tracker. But leaves up 6 mana for a Gearhulk or for double Void Shatter. This is just fine for Bradley.
The Tireless Tracker is one of few ways that Shaheen can actually keep up on cards, so getting that off on the table is a big win for Sheppard.
Remember, this 5/6, Shaheen doesn't have an answer to it just yet. Got Bradley's hand 2 Void Shatters, 2 Saheelis, a Gearhulk, I believe a land. This graveyard, a great graveyard for Gearhulks too. He's got another Glimmer, and a Gate, and an Anticipate. That's pretty great. Mindrak Demon, a quick Void Shatter by Bradley Sheppard.
Yeah, he had a bunch of them. Flyer can't be blocked by Torrential Gearhulk.
Felidar Guardian the draw. Okay, Ryan, so now he's got the combo and 9 mana. He could go for the win with a counterspell backup. Saheeli Rai, -1 copying Gearhulk. He's not going to do that. He could, but he's not going to. He'll just go for value.
He just has backup combo in his hand. This way it enables him to draw some extra cards. It forces Shaheen to have some action and applies a lot of pressure to Shaheen's life total.
So he makes a copy of Gearhulk. Shaheen attempts to the slaughter, but it gets Void Shattered. Copy of the Gearhulk comes into play, gives Harness Lightning flashback.
Did I say a lot of pressure? I meant lethal.
Okay, whoa. So, okay, let's walk through this. To the slaughter, he Void Shatters it. So then he copies the Gearhulk, so he has a second Gearhulk, gets Harness Lightning to remove Shaheen's blocker, then plays another Saheeli, copies Gearhulk a 3rd time and swings for 15. That was Shaheen's life total.
Yeah.
So the actual combo of the Jeskai Saheeli deck, see, is you play a Gearhulk, and then you play a bunch of Saheelis, and you just kill them with some hasted Gearhulk copies.
Yeah, and something about Sheppard's list, he has 3 copies of Torrential Gearhulk.